Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our training videos. Today we're going to talk about multitasking. You see, in leadership, we've talked about many of the other, maybe more external, transparent, easier things to understand around leadership, but very often we forget about or set aside multitasking. And yet multitasking is so important because on the one hand, it helps define your leadership skills in terms of the productivity, in terms of the performance, in terms of the efficiency with which you do your tasks. If this is your first time, anything I comment on or speak about, please feel free to add your own comments, your own thoughts, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That would be great to understand where your thoughts are with regard to this. So multitasking. It is said, and I'm a great believer in this, that women are way better multitaskers than men are. I just take the example of my wife. She runs her own business, has brought up the family, the kids, supported me during all my years of travel, but been able to achieve all this with what seems like seamless precision, like clockwork. Women do it incredibly well. But it's not just for women, because some women are not so good at multitasking, and equally men have a lot to learn. And I've learned a lot over the years, and I want to share some of those skills with you. Because you see, multitasking is about those things I mentioned: productivity, performance, efficiency. But it's also about the ability to help your team, your company move forward. Because the more you achieve, and the faster you achieve it, and the more effectively you achieve it, the greater and better a leader you will be. And bear in mind, it's about consistency. So not just once in a while you have a great day, you're fantastic at doing this. It's about consistent progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some stages. And to begin with, I'm going to break down multitasking into, let's just focus on the blue for a minute. Multitasking is about self-discipline. It means me, my disciplining myself, my control of myself. It's about me knowing what I need to do. It's about self-management. You see, nobody's going to manage you. There's nobody that's going to come in and say, you should do this, you should do that, you should do whatever. If you're the leader and you are leading yourself as you are leading others, you need to be able to manage yourself. It's about having a laser-like focus. It means that when you're getting something done, that's the whole energy that is given to that. That's the focus of your attention. It's about having high energy. Clearly, you can imagine it. It makes sense. The more energy you have, the better your performance. How can you get energy? Well, in some cases, it might be during the day, the time that you decide to do this. But equally, you may take energy drinks, you may take herbal tea, you may have other things that you do to support and give you that high energy. And then it's about staying power. By staying power, I mean seeing it to the end. So let's take it one step back. When you decide to multitask, you could say, well, it's like goal setting, which we talked about in a previous video. It's about setting goals that you want to achieve for that day or for that slot of time that you've given yourself. Well, that's true. But it's beyond just goal setting, because there's a myth that this is about a horizontal process, a linear process of multitasking. You do this, then you do that, then you do that, then you do that. And what I invite you to think about is that it's not that at all. Yes, there are things that you will need to achieve, but it's about how you modulate the things that you do. You see, I have this belief that time is multidimensional. Time can be expanded or contracted. Now you could say physically that is not possible. That's okay, but bear in mind, which is why self-discipline comes in, it's about how you perceive the thing that you need to do. And for me, my perception is I can expand time to fit and achieve the things that I want to achieve. So then you say, okay, well that's great, but how do we practically put it into place? Because this is all about me, where I am, my thought process. How, where, and when. Well, the how, as I said, it's like setting goals. So you'll set out the tasks for the day, you'll write them down, you'll prioritize them, and you'll define in what order you would do them. That's the priority that you set for getting those things done. So yes, you need to do that. So that's what you need to do. It's the how. What are the projects and when do they need to be achieved by? That's the how. The where, this is entirely up to you. If you're in an office environment, you have it in your office, you work in your office, but what you need to do is to ring fence. So you take your phone off the hook, or you put your phone on silent, make sure your PA doesn't put any calls through to you, no calls come at any time during that process. And you put outside a do not disturb sign, or whatever. You don't answer any emails, you don't look at your email inbox, you don't send any, and so on. You just want to focus on the place that you're going to do it, and you keep that place for you. It could be you decide that it's so important you want to work from home, or you enjoy being outside. It needs a creative thought. You want to be in a park or some other external environment. It doesn't matter. The where is up to you to choose. The key thing is it's got to be a place where you are going to be at peace and in control. You've got the discipline that you need to have. You need to focus completely. You don't want distractions. And then the when. Now the when, we've talked in the past about when your energy is at its highest. Now you could say, I'm a morning person, therefore I'll do it in the morning, or you could be afternoon, or you could be evening. But bear in mind that multitasking is about getting things done in a prolonged period of time. It could be 2 hours, absolutely, but it could be a whole day. So your energy may not be at its peak at all those moments during the day. Which is why I'm going to give you the example that'll help you understand how to best put it into practice. So let's assume that the top priority for you is to get a report done. You need to draft a report or write a paper, a document, something really important, which is going to take you, let's say, 4 hours to do. You start at 9 and you're going to finish at 1. That's the main theme, and you want to get that done. But what about punctuating that moment, those times, with you work for an hour on the report and you want to take a break? It's always good to have a break anyway, both mentally, physically, and thought process wise. So let's say there's a client that needs to be phoned or discussed or whatever, and that was on your list anyway. So you call the client up, you address it, take 10-15 minutes, you stand up, you walk around, so your energy levels are moving again. And you call the client, discuss it, resolve it, and then you go back to your report. You spend another hour on the report. And then maybe you have a break. You've got a major problem or an issue that needs to be resolved. You take 10-15 minutes to address that. Maybe it's an email, maybe it's reviewing a document, a paper. You address the problem, and then you go back to the report again. You see what you're doing? You're taking, on the one hand, times and slots in your hour or hours that you've given, or in your day, to do other things that need to be done as well. So you don't do one and then finish it and do another, then another. You can, but that's not the most efficient way of doing it. Well, you might say, well, that's great, but actually that report is so important, I need to focus fully on getting it done. I don't disagree. For some people, that's the way to do it. What I'm saying to you is that once you have learned to control your mind and your thought, and you can discipline yourself, and then you can go into something and back to where you were, out to something and back to where you were. That is training your mind to be able to engage externally and then come back, compartmentalize, and begin again. That's the skill of multitasking. And believe me, you'll be way more efficient doing that, stepping in and out, getting things done, and doing them to the very best of your capability. You'll be so much more successful than just doing it one thing at a time, piecemeal. So that's multitasking. Multitasking is about your ability to integrate different things effectively and efficiently. You'll come to the end of those 4 hours or that day and you'll go, wow, did I achieve all that? Well, yeah, you did. The more you practice, because everything's about practice, the more you practice, the easier it becomes, the better you become. It's something that I have trained and practiced for a long, long time. I can do many different things. I can compartmentalize completely. But nothing will stop and get into my space when I need to get something done. And I can flow in and flow out and back to where I need to be. If you can acquire that skill as well and that ability, you'll be so much more effective as a leader. If you've enjoyed this, got some nuggets, thoughts that you've had, please feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel as we bring you another training video in the future. Thank you.